A lot of really interesting points are brought up in this video, and I think it's worth analyzing because all modern feminists and modern women fundamentally can't handle reality. And I mean that technically, because if a woman is possessed thoroughly by the ideology and doctrine of feminism, then what she's doing is she's being taught to get angry at immovable, objective parameters of reality.
We've all been swatted. Me, Andrew, and you now. So, welcome to the club.
I guess so. Yeah, just bullshit, bro. Just fucking with the training, but he's an easy fight, so I really don't mind.
I can't wait. Yeah, it's lawfare. It's endless. And I like to consider
lawfare and legal battle is essentially the modern equivalent of the ancient battle, because what it is it's a battle of resources. Men can't go around beating each other up and taking each other's stuff now. That's illegal. You'll get arrested and thrown in jail, and then your life is heavily inconvenienced. But what you can do is you can sue each other. So that's what Logan's doing to Dylan, because he can't handle not being in control of the narrative and being exposed as incoherent and totally fraudulent. Fraudulent because when you compare his previous messages, which are lies, surrounding Andrew Tate and other people, they're perfectly completed by the fact that he's marrying a whore, because it's forcing him to swallow a red pill about intersexual dynamics that he claims to deny. So reality itself is essentially teaching him a lesson.
I consider myself an arbitrator of truth. I like to consider myself a pretty fair guy. What you just said is pretty fair. You're presenting information without comment, and you're allowing people to come to their own conclusions.
And the only reason I'm getting more upset now at her and I'm going at her is because she's suing me, and she's suing me over trying to lie, saying I hacked her Snapchat. So
they're not concerned with the truth. Nina Agdal is a scorned woman. She's thoroughly enraged at being judged by reality and the masculine gaze, which in women's mind is indistinguishable from reality. And so she will say and do anything now that her reputation is exposed, because when a degenerate woman is exposed as the fraud and, let's be honest, the slut that she is, that is a massive, massive hit to her image, because women deep down know that their value is defined by their chastity to some extent, by their relationship. This is interesting. By their relationship to reality through men. And so now that she's exposed, she's enraged like a wounded animal, and the things that she's going to do and say are going to make no sense.
14 on an iPad. I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know where the hell you were in 2014. Like, it's all bullshit story trying to make me look like a bad guy that hacked their stuff. Never hacked anybody's stuff. Those pictures are all easily found online.
Yeah, these women don't understand that you can find, if you were a slut, you can find pictures of it on the internet. Let's just say that.
It's bullshit, I'd rather give that money to people or to the people that he scammed it in that sense.
Yeah,
it's so fulfilling that Andrew Tate's on this call, isn't it? Now that Dillon Danis is completely owning Logan Paul, and Logan Paul, or I should say, Agent Paul, endlessly lied and slandered Andrew Tate, calling him evil, ostracizing a massive part of his impulsive audience, by the way. So it's really fulfilling seeing reality holding him accountable so brutally.
Lawfare works. They attack you endlessly. And, Logan and I have had our disagreements in the past. That's certain. But,
I thought he was an entertainer, I thought he would have understood the promotion side of this, So I guess not. I guess he can't handle it. He's egotistical. He can't handle when he gets the fire put back on him and he can't control the narrative. He just sues. So just like a
Chris, Dylan, later this week or next week, would you be down to do what I did with Fury and KSI? Would you and Logan be down to come into Discord together on my stream?
No, I don't know. Sure. I don't mind doing that stuff with him. It's just he talks over you, he yells, he kind of does this whole WWE thing that's just like really annoying to talk to. But I don't mind.
The work and the face-off, which I saw. I saw bits of that. I didn't see just the clips. I saw more of the long form. But Dylan actually really dismantled him well. And he did it by being authentic and real, whereas Logan is really desperately trying to play a character. And even more so than usual. He's normally trying to play somewhat of a character. And I think he's probably been playing a character for at least a decade. But in that face-off, he couldn't handle the simple parameters of reality. It was beyond walking on eggshells. It was trying to just avoid massive swaths of the conversation. Because let's be honest, you can't win a face-off. You can't win an argument when the other guy is saying that your wife's a whore. Like, there's no recourse to that, especially when there's proof that she's a whore. It's kind of the ultimate defeat, which again is why it's so fulfilling to see Reality brutally, essentially just holding Logan accountable and beating him just by his own failures.
And whenever you make a good point, he'll just be like, he'll go to the next thing, and then he'll just like try to start yelling again and try to not let you.
That's exactly the architecture of a damaged psyche that can't handle reality. That's exactly what you would expect.
He's just really like, he doesn't know how to have a discussion.
Okay.
Do you think he's happy with his relationship?
I think now, no. I don't think so. I think that.
Dude, there is no way that as a man, you're happy when your reputation takes a massive hit. Probably the biggest hit it's ever taken. The hit that his reputation took over the Japan incident was somewhat, I think, artificial and bandwagony, as is the nature of these radical leftists who don't really care about anything. They only care about canceling people. This is an authentic reputational hit because people are saying, oh, look, Logan is basically not a very valuable person. He doesn't think highly of himself, and he's a loser because he's marrying a whore. As a man, there's no way to get around that realization. It doesn't matter if you're Elon Musk. If you're trying to wife a woman that the entire city has ran through, dude, that's an L. It's an L that he can't escape. So as he tries to escape it, it only continues to damage him.
I think he didn't know a lot of things that I know, and I know a lot of things that I don't put out there. How many guys that she's done? Like, it's some crazy shit that she's a crazy girl. Like, I don't know. I mean, he might be happy, but I don't know. I think he's going to get divorced. He's going to get half his money taken in a couple of years.
Jesus.
But that
would be another continuation of reality holding him accountable. And I think that would be beautiful. I think that would be totally archetypally resonant and a likely continuation of events. Seeing as Logan's been unable to accept the fact that he's been force-fed a red pill, that he's been proven wrong by reality itself, and that he's been proven wrong by reality, Andrew Tate, and everyone else. And so he's probably going to marry this whore out of spite. She's going to take half his stuff, and then he's going to pay 50% of his net worth for being wrong.
I do think in my personal experience, I'll speak from my own personal experience. In my personal experience, women who have been with lots of guys, they struggle to stay dedicated to a guy.
Yeah. Especially the girl that has been with over celebrities-wise, probably 20, 30 celebrity men. And then regular guys, probably over 100. Maybe more that I know of that I haven't put out there.
That's disgusting. And a woman with a body count over 100. First of all, that disqualifies you from being a wife, just straight up. But over 30 celebrity bodies is extra disgusting.
Like guys
because
that
it means that she was having sex for,
There's guys that are in the city, just club guys that have dated her for months on end, taking her to wedding. And multiple groups, she grew up in New York City, so she was just
This is like a situation where Logan had a poster of her on his wall when he was a kid, and so he thought that by the time he would get her, that she would be that same person that he imagined when he was 15. But in reality, she just has 160 bodies.
Normal social girl that dated every single club guy, stuff like that. He was actually presented, so the way he was presented to her is from a club guy. He's a promoter. And basically, when you go out, and you guys probably have done this, you go out with a promoter, they want to bring you chicks, and they do that kind of thing just to look good. So he was actually brought her by a club promoter, and then he ended up marrying her. That's how they got together. That's the story.
There's a reason why men value innocence in women, and I think the innocence it's very attractive to us instinctually, and I think there's a bunch of reasons for it, but also one of the reasons for it is because we understand that psychological damage affects everybody, and breakups are psychologically damaging, and as a man, you're supposed to have scars, and you're supposed to go through difficult things and have trials and tribulations to be a damaged person to be a good man. Correct. The best men have had hard lives.
It's actually critical. It's important. You have to go through things in order to become the best version of yourself as a man. But women become damaged and less feminine as they face trials.
You did it. It can't be denied. You did it. And as for the future and what it holds for him, I guess it's his decision. I guess he feels like he knows her in a way that other people don't know her. But we can only talk from our personal experiences. And
yeah.
I think that men as a whole, all across the planet, all men value or all men respect women who are extremely exclusive or have extreme...
What is a lot of...
That's another way of saying that all men across the planet are mocking Logan Agent Paul. It's true though. It's actually true.
Sorry to interrupt. What is considered for a girl a lot of bodies or a lot of would you guys?
Honestly, I mean, some people would say if she's not a virgin at marriage. I don't have that opinion. I would say like more than 3 or 4. Then you can tell that she's somewhat damaged.
I'm just saying, if I was 30 years old and I'm...
See, women and feminists get enraged by this part because it's men saying what they are attracted to, and that does a lot of things. One, it shows that attraction between men and women is not symmetrical, it is asymmetrical, meaning what men are attracted to is not what women are attracted to. That infuriates them because it proves, indisputably, in a way that judges them quite literally, that reality is not socially constructed, that men and women are different, which invalidates the ideology and hypothesis of feminist doctrine. Because feminist doctrine says men and women are essentially the same, which is the reason why we can say they need to have equal outcomes, they need to manifest all of their emotions and thoughts in the same way. Whereas scientifically, if you study psychology, it's very, very clear instantly that men and women are not the same, and you can measure this in all manner of ways. So it's deeply, deeply enraging to a radical feminist to hear men talk about what they're attracted to for that reason.
Going for another 30-year-old. I mean, dude, Andrew, these girls lie all the time about their bodies. You never fucking know. You can't tell.
Yeah.
So
let's be honest. If you go to a club and you fuck a girl on the first night, do you really think you're the special one that you? Exactly. So you know they're doing it all the time.
what's the average girl? Would you guys say?
Aiden, I'm going to disagree with you there because I know what you're saying. They do lie. But I also think you can tell. I think that it's easy. It's easy to get like deluded, and it's easy to get led down the garden path, which is an English expression. It's easy to get led by a girl, and she can lie to you, and you can fall for the tricks. But I do think that part of you knows you're being lied to, and you just like to believe in the delusion. I think you can tell for some reason.
Right.
I don't know why.
You have to be mentally disciplined enough to put reality above your own expectations.
I've always been able to tell. I can just tell. I have like spider senses. I'm just like,
Andrew, can you tell by the way she acts, how she treats herself, how the way her behavior is, or do you tell by like if she, in the bedroom, if she like knows what she's doing extra well? Like, how do you really tell her? Like,
that's a good question, and I just want to remind everyone that feminists, if they're listening to this, are extraordinarily angry. They're so mad that men get to have standards on them because standards do what? They judge. They put boundaries and parameters around things. But see, we don't demonize women for having standards. When women say, oh, they want a tall guy who's assertive and dominant and successful, men don't complain about that, and they shouldn't. But women complain about men's standards. It's hypocrisy, obviously.
What's the way to tell?
I think it can be a combination of things. But you know what's actually what can be most scary? I think that's a trap a lot of men fall for. Is that sometimes the coolest chicks are the ones who have done so much shit that they almost seem like, oh, they're really cool and down to earth and they're really funny.
That's a very, very good point. The most feminine girls are always the ones that don't have a lot of experience because they're not like they haven't been damaged by breakups and reality.
Nothing really bothers them.
Not feminism. The feminine ethos is sort of like a bubble wrap between women and reality. It's interesting, but it can sort of function that way.
But I think that's almost like part of them has died. I'll be honest. If you meet a girl and you're her second or third man, she's going to be a bit crazy over you. She's going to be obsessive over you. And
I agree.
She's going to be a bit, if you get these girls who are just super cool. When I meet a girl and she's super like down to earth, super cool, and she's like, yeah, whatever, yeah, no problem. They can be the funnest ones to hang around with, but secretly like, nah, she's a little bit too cool,
So what's a lot of bodies for?
I've always been able to tell, and in my personal experience and the people I know around me, etc., I think there's definitely a link. You can probably pull up a study on this somewhere. I think that the less sexual partners a person's had, the more likely they are to stay loyal to their husband. I think that's pretty well studied.
Okay, fair enough. But what is a lot of bodies nowadays? I think when you were 30, bro.
Also too, like if we're out in Miami, right? I mean, obviously might be out of haram for you, but like if I'm out and I'm in Miami and that girl approaches me, and I probably would do it that night. But we're talking about marriage, it's a totally different thing.
Fair enough. I agree. There's a difference between a hoe and a queen. I agree with you guys fully on that.
Like if I'm out at 11 at 12 o'clock and she comes around and
she knows what's up. She knows what she's doing. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Listen.
No, I know. Yeah. Can you guys tell me what's the average body count? Not the average, but yeah, what's the average body count for a girl that's 20 and 30?
I can tell from what I can do is I can give you a personal experience. If I were like, all right, so here's how I approach life, or I think how a lot of men approach life. I can't talk about myself right now because of my legal situation, but let's talk about how men approach life. I think there's a lot.
Is suing any men that hold women accountable. It's hilarious.
a lot of men out there who understand there's a difference
It's also very
between
evil, you know, but it is funny when you realize how corrupt and broken they are.
fun girls and good girls.
Yes.
And I don't think that it's a problem if you don't get the two confused. I think if you get the two confused and you take a fun party girl and get convinced she's a good girl, I think you get wrecked.
That's your
And I
problem.
think also, if you treat a good girl like a party girl, you can also get wrecked because you'll lose to good girls. So you have to be very perspicacious, understand what you're dealing with. If I was to marry a chick, I would never marry a woman who had been with more than 5 guys. Ever.
Andrew, can you
I'm
convert?
not gonna hang around with a chick, party with a chick, whatever. I don't think I'd even.
Andrew, can you convert a party girl from degeneracy to like a queen, or is that possible? Like whether
Good
it's
question. I don't know.
whether it's religion or like, can you convert a party
I'm
girl
getting so angry at this.
to a queen?
Well, why would you? I think you could if you have a strong enough frame and you're a high value enough man. But why would you want to do that?
That's true,
such a
because
good
they-
point. That is the point Andrew Tate made before he was arrested on the last podcast he went on before he was arrested.
Yeah, it's like they already have the tendencies and shit, and like it's
Like,
like,
why would you want to? If you
Yeah.
have genuine.
yeah, it's
The
true.
only other thing too is like, do you think this girl would marry Logan if he wasn't Logan Paul? They have all this money and all this stuff. Like, do you think that he would still be with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we weren't
If
talking
you
about
just think
that.
about that every single day, you know what I mean? Like,
Bro.
she probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, but like, okay, so
Like, if he was some regular Joe Schmo and he still looked like Logan Paul, he wouldn't be married.
okay, my generation, I just feel like is cooked, bro. I don't know, Andrew. Like,
The Western world's hard, G. To
Yeah.
find a wife
It's
in the
fucked.
West is hard.
yeah,
Very hard.
it's fucked. I think.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to say what my strategy is going to be because I don't want to dilute the market.
Now, bro, like, Andrew, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's like cool now for girls to like
I might
listen to
share
like
at some point, but yeah.
this, yes, bitch, like that type of music, like, yeah, fuck them, my booty pink, my booty hole brown, like, it's cool to like rap about like fucking guys and playing them and like fucking them and like stealing from them. I don't know, it's like a flex for girls to like, yeah, girl, be on your hot girl shit, period, sis. Like, it's cool to like fuck guys.
Yeah,
and,
it is actually really absurd.
Why
But
you look at
rapping
my-
about being in denial of reality and to degenerate people who are called to an ideology that denies reality in order to be a quote unquote good person with virtue and status, it's attractive. But those people are being duped into living ruined lives. The happiest women in the world are women that are married with kids and raising them in a loving family. And the most miserable women are single women that hate the patriarchy and have no kids, and obviously are unmarried because they hate the patriarchy.
Miami, right? Some of the most beautiful women in the world are in Miami, and Miami's amazing to party. You can party in Miami and have a bunch of fun with girls, but you're not going to find a wife in Miami.
it's impossible. It's not happening. But Andrew, you might be able to find a girl outside of Miami, like that's not from Miami, like in Florida specifically. Like, you could find someone outside the city.
So it depends what you're looking for. So me personally, and I talk from personal experience, if I marry a woman, I want to make sure that what we have is extremely exclusive. I want to make sure that I get to show her the world. I want to be her gateway to the world. I want to be the first person who puts her in a supercar, the first person who puts her on a nice jet, the first person who takes care of her. I want to be the first person to show her things. I want her to have done everything with some other dude first.
Right.
Why would I want that?
That's so hard to find out too. In Miami, every girl's on a yacht. Every girl's on.
They're all getting fucked.
One girl. The next night they were with another guy.
Right, and they want to be the Dylan. They want to be in the section. They want to drink that 42. They want to be next to the signs. They want to be, you know.
Pure degeneracy, and it's what replaces the stable one-man apparatus for interpreting reality. It's what they're trying to replace it with. They're desperately trying to replace it with that because they've already said we hate the patriarchy, so they're just trying to take. They're just trying to be corrupt.
They just want to be in the limelight, bro. That's why, Andrew, we were talking earlier. It's not cool anymore to be involved in that shit, bro. It's like corny, cringe to me now. Like, it's just.
It's true, but wives do exist. They're hard to find, but we're not talking about. I mean, we're talking about Logan, but we're not talking about someone he's dating. We're talking about somebody he's dedicated his entire life and his fortune and his future to, and that's a big risk if they've had that much history. I mean, I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it. My wives have been very few men, very few.
At
Yeah.
31 years old, she has over 100 bodies. That's tough. And she's dated every single celebrity. Like.
By the way, you guys think Miami's bad? LA is twice as worse, Andrew. Twice as
Oh
worse.
yeah.
LA.
LA, New York, Miami. I mean, they're all the same.
Dylan, I don't even know how you live in New York anymore, man. It's so bad out there. I was asking the NPCs around Central Park, or at Washington Park, about genders and these things, and these people are fucking brainwashed. It's really bad. It's super fucked up, man. You got to get out of there. I'm telling you, New York is horrible.
For me, though, I mean, like, if someone like the trans and whatever they do is,
it's really concerning. But they are called to lie by their ideology in order for counterfeit virtue. They have no intrinsic merit to anything that they think or say. They are only required to adhere because they've sacrificed their individual identity on the altar of identitarianism. The only identity they have is a group identity, which in some ways removes their responsibility to make sense.
if they're happy, then I'm happy if they're happy. But like teaching on kids and shit, I don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't agree with you.
Hey, let's be honest. Let's cut the shit, right? We're living in a world now where me saying that female innocence is respected is enough for me to get demonized and them to put me in jail and attack me with a full fucking attack. They'll put me through lawfare. You're going through lawfare now, Dillian. They put me with lawfare criminal for saying that women's innocence is respected. But we know, all men intrinsically know that
they attack men for speaking the truth because their ideology is based in reality denial. I can't stress this enough.
female innocence has always been respected. Promiscuous females have never been respected since the dawn of human time in any culture.
And that fact enrages them. It enrages them. And the fact that it's still biologically true, it enrages them. That's why they attack these, parameters of right and wrong, up and down, men and women, biology, science, psychology. They detest the objective parameters of all of it.
In any religion, in any country, even the West, only 50 years ago, promiscuity was massively frowned upon. I think that every single holy text, it doesn't matter what religion you are, speaks the same thing about how important it is to avoid female promiscuity. And there's a special bond between a man and a woman when she hasn't been with a bunch of other men. There's a special bond and it's tangible and you can feel it and you can see it. And I know it's hard in the Western world today, but if I get married, I mean, the white dress is supposed to mean virgin, G. Okay, virgin's a bit extreme, perhaps, but a lot of women as well. I think a big problem that a lot of men make, they want to marry women, or women want to get married, and the man is confused because he thinks she likes him, but she doesn't want to be a wife. She wants to get married. She wants to Instagram. She wants to flex. She wants to
The lifestyle.
She wants to dress.
Yep.
She wants to
There's no real reason for wives to have Instagram.
attention. She wants all of that. She doesn't want to
Instagram is just a tool to get attention, and you shouldn't be looking for attention outside of your husband.
be an actual wife. And in my experience, it's another thing that I find quite interesting. Sometimes the girls who have done the most heinous things with the worst histories are the ones who are the most obsessed with marriage because they want to wipe the slate clean. And
Right,
they
they're
want
desperate to say, "Oh, look at this! I got wife, so all of you guys are just haters. You're wrong. Oh my gosh, you can be a whore and still get wife." It's shallow, reductive, incoherent thinking. But that's all that they have. They really aren't capable of more than that.
to pretend that there's something they're not, and they want it all to be forgotten. So they're the ones that push for the marriage the hardest. No, marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me, and they'll hold off on sex and pretend to be a good girl and all this garbage. I want the wedding because they're trying to prove something to themselves because they feel inside themselves they've done some bad shit they shouldn't have done.
But they can't change, Andrew. They are who they are. At the end of the day, they're just trying to hide it. But they're always, that's...
Getting up there in age too. She's 31, so she's getting out of that prime of going out and doing all that shit. Every guy's gonna find the newest
Women are
thing.
so enraged when they hear men talking about their standards. They can't stand being judged objectively.
18, 20-year-old and bring them on their yachts, not the 31-year-olds. There's a reason she's looking for marriage. But Candace Owens put it in a good way where she was saying how women think when they're younger it's cool to go party and do all this shit and take pictures of all the celebrities and fuck every athlete. But then when they realize that every guy basically he's just going to go for the younger girl and you're getting older and the guys don't want to marry that, So she put it like perfectly. And like she's a woman and she she has great values and stuff like that and she explained it perfectly. But exactly.
Well, and Candace is an amazing woman. I know her very well. I know her husband very well as well. They're amazing people. But that's the reason society is so broken, because we're living through a history now. We're living through a version of reality. This is the first time in human history where women could be so openly promiscuous. None of us know how to handle it. Women don't know how to handle it.
Right, we're slowly adapting. I think the correct way is the masculine frame. It's because there is no recourse. There's no tool in the female toolbox to cope with masculine that are capable to exercise judgment and objective parameters on women. And so as the winners select, attractive, hot, young, unpromiscuous women, it sends a clear and undeniable message. So undeniable, it's measured in security, children and the literal furthering of DNA that is raised and brought up correctly.
Like, I'm 20 years old. I can put my OnlyFans and make $500K a year. But then when they get older, they're like, holy shit, now I got to deal with all this repercussions of me putting all my body out there. But that's, I don't know, I'm not a woman, but, you know.
Okay, right? Because men don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to find wives. And women don't know how to handle it. I don't think women can deal with the psychological trauma of being with a bunch of men and nearly as well as they pretend they do. They can pretend
That's demonstrated 3 times a week on the Fresh and Fit show. That's pretty much what they do.
they don't mind.
Chat,
But I
where's
think
the
when
best
they're
place
alone
to
in
meet a
bed
girl,
in the
chat?
deep dark night, they regret a lot of the things they've done. And it's the first time we're in history now where women are living out these lives and they're being encouraged by the Matrix. And nobody, either male or female, truly knows how to handle this unique scenario we're in. The happiest women I know, have been with very few men or one man or two men in their entire life.
Exactly.
The happiest women I know, happily married, happy. So I don't know.
And the fact that that's true enrages feminists again, because it is a physical reminder that they're wrong, physical reminder that they deny reality. It's crazy.
I mean, perhaps I'm a terrible person. Perhaps I'm this big evil misogynist like they say I am. But I think that a woman is happier when she keeps
I
herself.
just think that you have the balls to say whatever a man wants to say, but doesn't want to say it because they don't want girls to switch on them. Because like ever since I started coming out with this, every girl unfollowed me. You know, it's like, so it's hard. I think you just say what men actually want to say, but don't want to say. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we respect innocence because
Yeah, exactly.
it's innocence that encourages us to protect and
They're
provide. We
such group thinkers. They're owned.
respect that innocence.
They're so owned that they think about that. They unfollowed Dylan Dennis because he was holding a woman accountable for being a whore. That says a lot.
He's just an egotistical like maniac, and he can't handle that. I'm making a narrative that he can't control, so he's
He can't
trying.
handle the fact that everyone's judging him as being pathetic. And the fact that he's being force-fed a red pill enrages him because he's being force-fed it. It's against his will. He's being owned by reality.
To shut me up, you know, kind of like what you're going through, but like, you know what I mean? It's fucked up.
Yeah, sure.
I'm reminded of a conversation George Janko had with Gideon where they talked about the archetypal, we could just call it the, the divine narrative, the divine arc of accountability. And I think there's a lot of value there.
5 to 10 years if they stay together or not, right? Because if they make it work, then nothing matters. But if they don't make it work,
Yeah, exactly.
a little conversation.
That's what I was told too. I heard that too, Dylan. Someone had told me, they said like Dylan won the fight if Logan and his wife don't make it. Like that. I mean, it's like I just, man. I look, Dylan. I'm gonna be honest though, bro. Like, I just want to see you two just get it. Wait, when is it? October? What is it?
Dude, our culture has become so haram. It's become so degenerate. Think about that. A couple is concerned about what a random man is saying, and they're already degenerate, so of course they do. But they're saying we can't break up because then he would be right in holding us accountable using objective reality, and we're living out of reality to such a brutal extent. That's a threat to us. That's nuts, dude. That's so nuts. Guys, this is crazy. I'm in the middle of editing the video, and Dylan Dennis just tweeted, "One day after talk with Tate and my Instagram has been disabled." Guys, his Instagram has been disabled. As if I'm right in the middle of editing this video, and as if we need more proof that the left is tyrannical and they want to silence free speech. They want to have a tyranny, a regime where you can't speak freely. You can't associate with who you want to freely. There's a blacklist of deplorables, undesirable. Remember, these people are the ones that say they're compassionate and inclusive. But if you associate with the wrong people, oh, you're banned. You hold women accountable, you post pictures of their past, you're banned. These people are absolutely mentally depraved and objectively immoral. It is a battle between light versus dark.